Up and down the country, people are taking on epic renovation projects.
Oh, wow. Such an amazing space.
But too many of them have had bad experiences with builders.
Oh my God. Wires hanging out everywhere.
There's a full-on hole in the ceiling.
There was a point where we were only left with one wall in the house.
Oh my God.
Costing them their hard-earned cash.
So basically, you've got nothing to show for that £40,000.
Most of our life savings we've given them.
And leaving them in chaos.
It's just like living in a building site.
Oh.
Hello.
So I'm coming to their rescue.
You are going to live in this house one day, I promise you.
I'll teach them the DIY skills they need to save money and get their builds back on track.
Let's see if it fits. Like a glove. That is a whole wall panelled. There is nothing we can't do, I tell you.
And with the help of my forewoman,
My best apprentice.
Woo!
I'll also be up in my own DIY game at home.
We'll have a door each.
A door each, babe. That's how much I love you. I'm giving you a door.
Brick by brick, we'll prove that with hard graft
Looks as good as anyone else's fascia, doesn't it?
and clever design,
You made this. I didn't have to do nothing. I should have just FaceTimed you.
you can have your dream home.
I'm so proud of you.
They've done it. I want to move in.
Today, I'm off to help Katie, who's a nurse, and Chris, who works as a civil servant. They scrimped and saved for 7 years to buy their forever home.
I think I just described Katie as amazing. She's a little ray of sunshine and brightness and, yeah, always cheers up my day.
Oh, that's kind.
Don't sound so surprised.
The married couple were able to afford their three-bed semi because it needed a complete refit.
The main achievement, really, was being able to afford a house in this day and age. As a nurse and a civil servant, it's really hard. It's hard times.
After buying, Katie and Chris spent another 2 years getting together the cash they needed to renovate. They planned to start with the kitchen diner.
I just imagined it to be a really colourful, happy, warm home. I just love colour. I'm not really a cream or white or normal person.
But the first time they employed builders to sort a damp problem in the dining room, things quickly went wrong.
The work that was carried out kind of left everything in a mess and made it worse. And so we were left with walls with plaster hanging off and a huge damp problem that we needed to do something to fix.
It was just a really stressful time because we worked really hard for that money and it just didn't fix the problem.
They lost the best part of £1,000 of their hard-earned savings. But even worse, it shattered their confidence and put them off spending the rest of their renovation pot. So everything is on hold.
It's daunting because, oh my God, it's a lot of work. Where do we start? But I think we've kind of got to a point now where we're like, it's now or never. We want Stacey and the team's support and help to guide us and think, this is what you need to do, and we can help you do it.
I reckon there's lots they can do themselves to finally turn their house into their forever home.
Hello. Katie, Chris.
Hiya.
Oh, you look really nervous.
Yeah, we are.
Are you?
We're nervous.
Not used to this.
I'm really excited to meet you and to be here. I remember buying our forever home, that excitement of being able to turn it into your own. To be stopped at that first hurdle must have been really difficult.
Yeah, we were just sad and upset that, you know, it kind of stalled us to wanting to do more work because we felt like, oh God, are we going to waste more money?
Do you feel like it's home at the moment?
No.
It is home, but at the same time, we're slightly embarrassed to even invite our friends around, let alone you. So it would be nice to have
You
somewhere
don't have
that
to be
we would
embarrassed in front of me, Chris.
It would be nice to have something that we were proud to show off.
You know what? I know that you've had a bad experience, but that doesn't mean that you still can't have your dream home. Now is the time to build that confidence back up, and finish what you started. This is it.
Yeah.
Cool, let's get in there, let's see what we're doing.
On the ground floor, there's a dining room at the front that flows into a kitchen behind and a living room to the side. Upstairs, there are 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. But as soon as you walk into the front dining room,
Oh my goodness.
the scale of the challenge is clear. The underlying damp problem has been resolved, but it's left its mark, and I wonder what is hiding under that carpet.
Have you took the carpet up to have a look?
Until we're actually at a point where we can do something about it, it's almost you'd rather not know.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
But it's not.
No.
I'm here to debunk that
Yeah.
myth. That fear of wanting to know more often just leads to a bigger problem.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Feels like
Yeah.
it's just kind of...
Yeah, and that cracked nearly straight away when we had the work done.
I think this is a real red flag. If someone's going to
Yeah.
come along and plaster your room, it's so strange to have any cables on the outside.
Yeah.
You would just chase those in. Oh, it's such a shame. What is your dream when you bought this house and you walked into this room? Because it's a beautiful room with a huge
Yeah.
window, the arches, everything about it is quite incredible.
We just really want a space where we can entertain our friends, our family, kitchen discos.
Kitchen disco.
Yeah, and the kitchen at the moment is such a dark, dingy room.
The kitchen escaped the damp, but it barely has any worktop or floor space and limited natural light.
We really love cooking, but it's just not enough room.
We want to be able to do it together and spend time together doing
Because
it.
that's part of your quality
Yeah.
time, I suppose. Do you
Yeah,
feel like you're
yeah,
missing
yeah,
out on
yeah.
in a relationship sense?
Definitely.
Katie and Chris want to swap over the kitchen and the dining room to give them a bigger, brighter kitchen overlooking the front garden. And to make more space, they want to knock out the disused chimney in the corner. It's an ambitious plan.
Our budget's 15,000 for
Okay.
the whole lot, which includes the chimney breasts
No
and the
pressure.
floors and
Yeah, that is a really tight budget.
Yeah.
Kitchens are expensive. There's structural stuff like the flooring, electrics, water. If you're going to move a sink from here to over here, you've really got to think about where your waste pipe's going. So we're going to have to really be creative.
One of Katie and Chris's ideas to keep costs down is to do some of the work on the chimney breast themselves. Before they can get rid of it downstairs, they need to remove the one in the bedroom above. Before taking on this kind of job, you should get advice from a structural engineer and check planning and building regulations.
Oh dear. There's a full-on hole in the ceiling.
The chimney breast is behind this plasterwork. Fortunately, they've already had a builder remove the chimney stack from the roof above.
This whole thing is going to need to come out first before they even think about taking out the bottom chimney breast. So hopefully we can get Chris and Katie to actually really get stuck in, because it's a lot.
At least they have one little haven.
Oh my gosh, I finally found the end of the rainbow, and it's in Katie and Chris's house. Wow, everything is so bright. This is definitely Katie's house, isn't it? I love it, but it makes me a little bit sad because you can see this is their only sanctuary in the house.
It'll be a massive undertaking, but I think they can achieve their dream upgrade on just 15 grand. If I can teach them how to do a substantial chunk of the labour themselves.
So I actually went and found somebody to price up exactly what you wanted if we were to get builders in and someone to do it all for us. And they actually costed the entire project at £26,000. There's definitely moments when we're going to have to get people in, you know, for the electrics, for the plumbing. But I genuinely believe that a lot of this you are fully capable of doing yourself, because then you're just paying for materials, no labour.
I think with a bit of guidance, I think I can do it. I just need to know how.
That's why I'm here. We'll start it
Yeah.
together. We'll go through parts of it.
Step-by-step idiot's guide.
No, not idiot's guide. Beginner's guide, we call it. There's no idiots here. So, doing your own demolition work could end up costing you £1,000, whereas I do believe that we can pull out a kitchen, we can rip off the skirting, we can get everything to the bare minimum, ready to start the project. Does that sound
sounds good.
Not too scary?
No.
Anything destructive, that's good.
Yes, exactly. We can do all the anger we've got about how the project went the first time round. We can let it out on the demolition. Perfect. Good. You, Chris, have said that you're happy to give a go at removing the chimney.
Yep.
That in itself will save over £1,500. I also think that you are more than capable of laying your own flooring. Katie, you look like...
Dirty work. I think that might be... I'll pass things to Chris as he's...
Well, you might have to get involved because it may be a two-man job.
Yeah.
Decorating. That'll save you nearly £1,000 if you do all the decorating yourself.
Yep. The more money we save, the better.
If we want the £15,000 budget to spread to everything that you're talking about, then I think we are going to have to do all of those things ourselves.
Yeah.
You up for it?
Yeah, we're up for the challenge.
I feel like we've got a basic plan.
Yeah.
I feel like we're ready to get started.
Yeah, it's exciting.
When I say get started, I mean, I really think we should just get in there and go for it. I'm not going to lie to you. As soon as I walked in the dining room, I've wanted to rip up the carpet. So, can we start?
Let's rip it up.
Let's see what lies beneath.
Knowledge is power. So facing up to the extent of the damp damage has got to be the first step.
Oh, it's coming up nice and easy. Shall we roll?
By doing this themselves, the couple are instantly saving cash.
Pull. Yes, come on. So let's roll. Let's step back and have a look, shall we? It's not that bad. So I wonder if it was the carpet that was damaged rather than the floor. Katie, I feel like we've just revealed the dance floor for your kitchen disco. They've conquered the first hurdle. It's one of those things, OK, I'll be totally honest with you. Day one is I don't want to say the easiest day, but it's the most enthusiastic day because you're excited to start something new and you go for it. Hold on a second, Chris.
Oh, God. So I guess we're feeling anxious but excited. It's a lot of work to get done, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit daunting. Getting the chimney sorted is the biggest worry, I think.
Good. Bye. There's a lot to do in that house on a very, very tight budget. Everyone is going to have to put in the maximum to make that happen. Whether everyone can do that or not is our biggest challenge.
A few days later, Chris has roped in his dad to take a closer look at the chimney breast in the upstairs bedroom.
It's a lot quicker than doing it by hand.
Yeah. Try and go under the plaster to then it'll lift it off in bigger chunks.
It's been very mucky, dirty work, and yeah, generally kind of started to get our head around what we're going to do.
Having uncovered more of the brickwork, they can now see the underlying structure.
I think we'd better stop there.
Before they can continue, they're going to need to take further advice from an expert.
So yeah, we can't just knock them all straight out.
We're just a bit worried that we don't know what's supporting what, so we don't want to take the chimney out in case, like, I don't know, the wall upstairs collapse.
In the Forest of Dean, Nurse Katie and civil servant Chris are trying to do as much work as they can themselves to revamp their house on their tight £15,000 budget. They're currently tackling the most complicated job, the removal of the chimney breast.
I think as it comes down, it should get easier, I hope.
Now we've made a start, it kind of gives you a bit more impetus to keep going.
They've taken advice from a structural engineer, and the real demolition work has now begun. But it's a big job, so I'm coming to help out along with our builder, Aggie.
Oh, the sun is shining, Aggie. Hello!
Hi! Nice to see you.
I've come with Aggie. Hiya. Wonderful Aggie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Aggie.
But before we crack on with the chimney breast upstairs, there's some good news downstairs. Chris has cleared the old plasterwork.
I can see There's no more of that cracked plaster on the wall.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Did you do it straight away?
As soon as you'd gone, yeah, I was there with the chisel and hammer.
Yes, that's what I like to hear.
Quite a bit of work, yeah, all cleared out.
Amazing.
I think although there's a few cracks in them, the plaster in the wall underneath is pretty much sound.
You know, you were so nervous about what was behind the plaster, what's under the carpet, what am I going to find behind these things? And actually, so far, so good.
But today's main job is the chimney breast removal. The disused chimney goes up into the bedroom above, so the upstairs one needs removing first. They've made a start, but the last of the chimney bricks are attached to the surrounding walls, so removing them is a delicate job.
Right, let's goggle up, mask up.
Luckily, Aggie has a two-step solution.
We want to loosen the mortar between the bricks and take the bricks out manually.
And once we've got rid of these bricks here, we can then go downstairs and remove the entirety of what's left of the chimney breast. Amazing.
Okay, so first thing we have to do is just run an angle grinder down to loosen the mortar between the bricks.
You can hire an angle grinder for a day for just over a tenner. And while labour costs vary across the country, it could cost up to £200 a day to get a labourer to do this job. We need to make several half-inch cuts to break the mortar. That will free the chimney bricks from the bricks of the surrounding walls. And be prepared for the dust.
Welcome to my world, Katie.
I don't know if I want to be in your world.
Do you want to give it a go, Katie? Go and give it a go.
Yeah.
Yes, come on.
Okay, so you've got the line there. Just keep running down.
Yeah.
Like all power tools, angle grinders can be dangerous. Always check safety advice before using one.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
How'd you feel?
Yeah, I think this is all right actually using this.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's quite dusty though, isn't it?
It is dusty. That's why we got all of this. To know that someone like Katie, who didn't want to go near it in the beginning, felt confident once she'd had a go, hopefully proves to people out there, if they're wondering, can I hire these tools? Can I do it myself? Can I do it on a budget? Yes, you can. Get some advice, get someone to show you how to use it, and give it a go. Well done, Katie. That's amazing.
If someone said to me 3 weeks ago I was going to knock down a chimney, I would have been like, no, thanks, mate. You're all right. Chris will do that. Hopefully I can help Chris downstairs and we can get things moving along a bit quicker.
Now we've freed up the chimney bricks from the adjoining walls, it's time for step 2.
Okay, so now we start hitting it with an SDS.
What's an SDS?
Big hammer drill that bashes things.
Perfect.
We can now break apart the isolated chimney wall and remove it brick by brick.
It's the end.
Yay!
Yes! Come on!
Well done, team. Group hug.
Who's making the teas? I am having a great time. I mean, I moan about the soot and the noise, but I am loving life right now. I literally just hammer drilled down a fireplace. There is nothing we can't do, I tell you.
Getting stuck in with Katie and Chris has inspired me to carry on with some jobs at my own home, Pickle Cottage. We've recently turned our conservatory into a poolside shelter, and I am obsessed with arched doorways.
So I would love to learn how to build my own arches. Am I being too ambitious?
Not at all, it's just framework.
So, Aggie, this is the first arch I would love to give a go.
We measure up the door, which is 120 centimetres.
So this would be a 60 by 60 piece of plywood with a circular cut in it.
We're making 2 of these 60 centimetre half arches using plywood and timber. First, we cut the plywood. We use a piece of string attached to a pencil to correctly measure the curve and then cut it with a jigsaw.
Ta-da! We've got an arch. Well, half an arch. Half an arch, yes.
The half arches fit. We'll make 2 more for the reverse side of the door, then join the pieces with timber spanning the depth of the doorway. Just as we're getting somewhere, we have a visitor. My other half, Joe.
What is it with you and arches?
I just love an arch, don't I?
Everything's arched. The doors are arched in the house. This is all arched up.
We're about to get a whole lot more arches, let me tell you, because once I learn how to do this, Joe, the doors to your wardrobes are going to be arched.
What are you doing? You're creating
I'm sorry. If it doesn't do the bang, 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 yeah, you're not screwing in, it's spinning. OK, so I'll just
It's all
give
about
you
the
a
bang,
long
bang,
screw.
bang, Stace. The long screw and the bang, bang, bang.
Honestly. This is what I have to live with, Aggie. That's why I've got 100 children.
Ready? That's it. Bang, bang, bang. I've got to go.
Thank God for that.
Next, we drill the arch framework into the doorway and add plasterboard cut to the same shape to finish.
Woohoo! Look at that. We've got an arch. We just walked through our very own archway. This has made me so happy. Every door and window better be careful in this house because I'm coming for it. I love it.
In the Forest of Dean, Chris and Katie have finished removing the chimney downstairs.
It's hard work. It is hard work. Definitely prefer a 12-hour nursing shift than, taking down a chimney.
And Katie's dad, who's a builder, is helping construct a new wall to make good the corner where the chimney was. But there's one other thing they've had to check, whether the original damp problem affected the timber floor, which could throw into question their entire plan and budget.
This is the moment of truth, Aggie.
So Aggie's delving beneath the floorboards to see if there's any sign of damp.
OK, what's it saying under there, Aggie?
The walls are dry, the timber's dry.
Amazing.
Oh, that's such good news. Such good news.
So the floorboards, there's no damp there. How do you envisage this flooring moving forward?
Well, I guess the 2 options we're considering is either to keep the floorboards or the other option is to concrete it. So it's trying to weigh up the 2.
Concreting the floor involves ripping up all the floorboards and joists, filling the cavity, adding a damp-proof membrane, insulating, and pouring and levelling the concrete.
When we got quotes for concreting the floor, it is about double what it would cost us to make good of what you have here already. So that's more of a question for you, Aggie. What's the benefit of concrete?
It won't rot.
OK.
Any future damp problems, you won't have any of that with concrete.
OK.
And we're just so worried about future damp, future problems that we want a floor that lasts.
I think that is so valid and totally understandable. Sometimes when you've been through a lot in a build, you don't really want to put anything in that could be compromised. Could we concrete the floor ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a technically difficult job. It's just hard work.
It's always worth consulting building control before embarking on a big task like this. Whatever Katie and Chris decide, there's graft ahead. Katie and Chris are now 7 weeks into their project to move the kitchen from the back to the front of the house. They've spent £3,700 on updating the electrics. And now with Aggie's help, they're saving cash by demolishing their old kitchen
You take that side, I'll take this side.
and ripping up the old dining room floorboards to make way for the concrete floor they're ambitiously going to lay themselves. But juggling all of this with full-time jobs as a civil servant and children's nurse is intense.
Just before the stage of putting everything back. And I do find myself having to move things backwards and forwards, and it's a bit like a big kind of Tetris game.
It's dust central. You don't even have to brush past anything and you get covered in it because it seems to just be floating around in the air constantly.
The kitchen units costing £5,300 have arrived and a fitter is due soon. So everything must now be done against the clock and with less and less money to work with.
We're a bit anxious at the moment because the house is in such chaos. We're just worried that the floor might not get done in time.
In the Forest of Dean, Katie and Chris are tackling some big DIY jobs in the hope of sticking to their £15,000 budget, including rebuilding their kitchen floor. Over 10 days, they've removed the floorboards and joists and laid a base to go under the concrete, reusing rubble from the demolished chimney.
There are about 500 bricks, a layer of plaster, a ton bag of sand, damp-proof membrane, then the 100mm insulation blocks.
Now Katie's dad's mucking in to help them get that floor as level as possible before the kitchen goes in. They mix concrete themselves before pouring and smoothing an 80mm thick layer for the flooring and units to sit on. They've saved around £2,000, but it's been a physically demanding labour of love.
It's the worst job over, or the worst of the worst jobs over.
With the floor down, they've spent £1,000 on a fitter to work on the kitchen. And a few days later, I want to see how it's all shaping up.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this is different. Hello, hello. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've got so much to catch up on. What on earth? It's like a different house.
It looks good, doesn't it?
I cannot describe to you how different it feels in this entire downstairs. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you too.
It makes so much better use of all the space.
It really, really does. I remember when I first came here and you didn't feel confident in starting the project, and you've just gone from like 0 to 100 really quickly, and you should be really proud.
Obviously, it looks fabulous, but we still can't use it as a kitchen.
Yeah.
You just missed me doing my washing up on the patio in a bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what? Let's keep going then. Let's go as fast as we can. Katie and Chris are probably two of the most positive people I've ever met in my life, but I can't help but think they must be absolutely exhausted. They're probably burning the candle at both ends.
So to help boost morale, I want to do some projects that will add personality to their home. Starting with a space-saving idea in the dining room.
We are going to build storage seating boxed in around this corner.
Amazing.
Also, it will double up as storage, so we'll be able to open the top of it, shove all the stuff we don't want to see inside it.
It's going to look really good.
There's two main steps to this process.
My plan is to build 2 timber ladder-like structures, one that will go against the wall and one for the front, and screw them together with battens to create our box. Then we'll board it up with MDF panels.
These are your 2 long bits. They stretch like the length of the wall.
You can cut the battens to size yourself with a chop saw, or get the timber merchant to do it for a few extra quid.
And these bits just go in between. One there, one in the middle, and then one at the end.
The materials cost under £350, but to have these professionally built could easily cost another £750.
Whenever you feel like space isn't necessarily in abundance, the most important thing you can do is to create clever storage. And clever storage means it's got to double up as something else. So to get seating and storage out of one thing is just a win-win.
Before, we didn't really want to invite people over. It was a bit embarrassing, it was a bit dark and dingy. But now, once this is done, we're going to have so much space to have people over for cocktails and kitchen discos.
I've made the last ladder bit for the top. So, all we've got to do is fix this to the top.
Is it lined up from your side?
No, that's a bit better, I think.
Now that you've screwed it together, you can test it out. Might as well have a little sit on it.
Yeah.
Go. Oh, it's going to be so nice.
Just need a cocktail.
Katie and Chris now need to finish boarding up their frame, make a second box seat, paint them and buy cushion seat pads to go on top. Katie and Chris dream of infusing their home with vivid colours, but there's a fine line between bright and garish. So I'm looking for inspiration on how to strike the perfect balance.
Katie and Chris know that they want a really colourful kitchen, but I think Katie is nervous that she might get a bit carried away. So this house is a blooming masterclass in how to use colour.
This modern townhouse in East London started out with blank white walls throughout, but it has been transformed into a carnival of colour.
Wow. Oh my gosh. This house is a new build, so it hasn't got any period features to celebrate. It hasn't got any features at all. Everything in here has been achieved with colour.
But rather than just using colour in the background, quirky combinations have been cleverly used to create structure and definition.
It's quite unusual, but when you get it right, it really, really works. I think Katie would absolutely love this colour blocking in the house, and I know that Chris will like it, because if Katie's happy, Chris is happy.
The designers have also used patterns to inject contrast, drama and a sense of fun into the space.
These stripes draw your attention right up to the ceiling and make the whole room feel really, really grand.
This place is bold, but it isn't brash, thanks to a careful balancing act.
If you're going to have those super bright colours, you've got to mute it down with some kind of base. This cobalt blue, I don't think would look half as good if it wasn't up against that crisp white backdrop.
And the designers have broken all the rules by painting in places you don't usually paint.
They've gone under the stairs with the colour, into the risers, framed all the doorways. They've printed the shape of the staircase onto the wall. Bit of genius geometry there, look. It means that actually the paint in this room dictates the shape and the style and not the stairs and the walls, which is bonkers, but brilliant.
They've also used colour to paint these pretty pink archways that tie into the panelling.
And just when you think you've seen it all, the ceiling. It is a masterpiece.
I think some of those clever colour techniques will really bring Katie and Chris's house to life. So I'm going to teach them how. Starting from the top down.
How do you feel about a pastel-y coloured ceiling?
I would love that.
Would
Definitely,
you?
Yeah.
Using different shades on the ceiling rather than plain white can make a real statement.
Okay, so this is the colour I saw and immediately thought of you, Katie.
Oh, I love it. Ooh. It's really nice.
Every time I see yellow, sunshine, happiness, I think of you guys. So.
Starting to layer in pastel pops of colour throughout the kitchen will add contrast to their bright white units.
It's very nice. Don't stop now, though. It's still a bit more.
If you love it.
He's getting bossy.
Then here you go.
Thank you.
And then we're going to follow through with splashback tiles in a range of pastels.
Your colour scheme.
I love them.
It kind of just picks out, you know, the yellow ceiling, the pink taps. So I thought we should try and incorporate all of the colours into the tiling pattern.
It's like ice cream, like retro.
Yes.
The tiles and materials come to £180, but the labour could cost another £300.
How do you feel about tiling?
I've never, ever done it. Don't know where to start.
It is not as intimidating as it looks. It can be quite fun, I promise.
Yeah.
We are just doing straight cuts on these. It's already set and measured to exactly where we want to cut it. And then you're going to score a line across the tile. And then you want to bring this flat piece into the middle. And that, when you push it, breaks the tile. So, you want to get a little bit of the adhesive, and you basically want to
put it on the edge of the trowel.
Yeah, like a cake.
So I'm going to go from the centre and literally just build it up. And then it's time to put the tiles on. I want to go for a random pattern to make it quirky. And I'm so pleased to see Katie is taking to a task that in the past she would have shied away from. Chris would he would be the one trying to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, he'd probably do this, yeah.
But he's taken on so much else, hasn't he?
Yeah. He is knackered.
Are you knackered?
Yes.
So you're nursing all day?
Yeah.
And then doing DIY. What type of nurse are you, Katie?
I'm a child and care nurse, so I work with children in foster care. I see children from 0 to 18.
God, you've got such an emotionally demanding job.
Yeah. It's a great job, though. I do love it.
But then you're coming home entirely.
Yeah.
All right, we are getting somewhere, Katie.
Looking at them all, thinking, oh, wow, I've actually done that myself. So it's given me a bit more of a drive and confidence to do some more things for myself. I love the colours.
Good.
They are like ice cream.
Whenever I think of you, I think of ice creams, rainbows, unicorns. I think Katie's fallen in love with the tiling. And you could see the joy in her face and how happy she was to have put those tiles on the wall. Let's stand back and have a look.
I'm excited.
Good. I'm glad you're excited. It's about time you two got excited for that end result.
Yeah.
So next time I come back, you'll have the whole kitchen tiled.
Yeah.
You can do that. The way Katie and Chris are stretching their budget with sheer hard graft is brilliant. But having spent £2,300 on plastering and £500 on plumbing, it's now crucial they keep up the momentum for the final push.
And there are loads of little jobs that we're now sort of panicking a little bit about. So we've got handles to go on all the doors and drawers in the kitchen. We've got all the different window sills, window frames to paint, doors to paint, walls to paint. Yeah, we're both really tired now.
But there is no time to rest. Chris is painting the finished seating.
This is going to be the back of the bench seating. This will be the bit you lean against, which will have the cushions on it.
Maybe even if I've got a few blemishes on here, I'll be able to cover it with a cushion or two.
While Chris's dad chips in with some wallpapering. And Katie adds that clever use of colour I taught them.
The money is pretty much gone now, so we're flying by the seat of our pants, basically, trying to get as much done ourselves as we can with the help of some friends, family, anyone that we can bribe to come into the house, you know, cups of tea, glass of wine. Yeah, it's basically all hands on deck now.
Hopefully everything goes to plan because we haven't got really any contingency for any hidden things that suddenly pop out the woodwork.
It's been 4 weeks since I last saw Katie and Chris. They were pulling out all the stops to complete their build with some help on finishing touches from my team. Now I am dying to see how everything has turned out. There was so much to do, so I am hoping that when I walk in there, it's completely finished and it's everything they ever dreamed of. Hey!
Hiya.
Yes!
Hi there.
Oh,
Nice to see you again.
It's so lovely to see you
Yeah.
both. How's the last few weeks been coming up to this point?
We've been pretty tired, working late nights after work, lots of weekends.
Lots of stress.
But we think we've got there, so we are really excited to show you.
Oh my God, Katie, I cannot wait to go and see it. Can we go in?
Yes,
Come on.
Please. Yes. Just 3 months ago, this was an unused dining room with cracked, crumbling walls.
It's so good, isn't it?
I'm actually speechless.
Yeah.
It's now a retro ice cream parlour of a kitchen, packed with colour. The walls are now complete with those multicoloured pastel tiles. They cleverly bring together all the colours throughout the kitchen, from the pretty pink tap to the bold green archway. Where the chimney breast was, now stands a statement baby blue retro fridge. The beautiful checkerboard flooring over the concrete base Chris laid carries through that blue. The natural oak worktops and stool tops create a contrast that lets the surrounding colours breathe. And the spotlights add a warm glow to the natural light from the front window.
It's the amount of light, isn't it?
It's so bright.
It was like a dark garage light before.
I'm so blown away. This is your hard work.
Yeah.
I love all of the pops of colour.
Yeah.
The yellow ceiling really
Yeah,
works, doesn't
yeah.
it? And all of the handles and the tiles and the archway.
Definitely.
Because they're all part of the same pastel palette.
Yeah.
Every little pop of colour drives you to the next pop of colour and it just works.
Yeah.
And every time you're cutting up your onions, you can be like, oh, my beautiful tiles.
Yeah.
And they've cleverly stretched their budget with a money-saving idea for the shelves.
We had some spare worktop left over.
So that's the offcut?
Yeah, so that's the offcut. So it saved us money. And we've got statement shelves.
Well done,
Yeah.
that's such a good idea. It's so good that you thought, oh, don't waste those.
Because it's such nice wood. And they would be really expensive if you bought them in the shops.
Oh, well done. How does it feel being in here? How does it feel walking into this room?
It's just so... We just come in and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Before it was kind of really dark and cramped, whereas here it's kind of light and there's room to skip around.
We just want to be in here all the time.
Oh, good. Now can I sit on your stool? I'm desperate to actually use this kitchen. Look at them, they're so cool. Oh, they spin.
And the beauty doesn't end there. This once led to a cramped, dark kitchen. But step through that boldly defined archway and now it's a spacious dining room. The box bench seating I taught them to make is finished. An array of lights create a real atmosphere and the decor follows through the colour schemes from the kitchen.
Oh, Katie, Chris. To think what this space was when I first met you, it's shocking. The wallpaper.
I know, it's so pretty. I love it. It goes with the dungarees I wore when I
Yes,
first met you.
when we first met.
Yeah.
Really, all my inspiration has come from your outfits
Yeah.
throughout this whole project.
We're just amazed at what we've managed to achieve. And like, I just keep opening the door. I'm like, I'm just going to check that my new kitchen's still there.
I don't think I've ever met two more bubbly, social, happy people in my life. And to think that you were living in a home where you were embarrassed for anyone to come round. You deserve this a million times over. I'm so happy for you guys.
Oh, thank you, Stacey.
Thank you.
And upstairs, Katie and Chris have exceeded their plan. 3 months ago, the second bedroom was empty and gathering dust with a hole in the ceiling until they ripped out the chimney breast, made good and redecorated to create this.
Katie, what?
It's very me, isn't it?
It is very you. Oh my gosh, the wallpaper, I love it.
They've run with those colour techniques I taught them downstairs. The feature wallpaper on the short wall means it doesn't overpower the room, but it brings together the colours from the door, the window frame and the bed. And they've cleverly used leftover paint from downstairs to keep their costs down.
I need to know if this bed is as comfy as it looks. I'm taking my shoes off. Oh, wow.
I'm hoping this makeover has motivated Katie to keep making the most of her love of colour.
Do you feel like you've got the confidence now to carry on doing any other bits and pieces in the house that you might have wanted to do?
I think it's given us a lot of confidence. I'm definitely better at painting, grouting. Definitely want to get into that bathroom.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you feel empowered by it?
Definitely. It's always been like a man's thing. Men are taught how to do these things. So now I feel, confident to be able to do things myself and know how to do things.
Yeah.
So
and not be intimidated by them.
It's part of our history now. It's part of our, our life and what we've managed to achieve together. It's been a hard slog, but worth it. So worth it.
Because now you've got this.
Yeah.
And the most impressive thing of all is that thanks to all of their sheer hard work and a hand from their lovely dads, they've kept to their super tight budget of £15,000. So they now have a house they're no longer ashamed of.
It's incredible. You've honestly been two of the hardest working grafters I've ever met. You saved a huge amount of money. Huge, huge, huge. So you should be really, really proud.
It's given us a real sense of achievement that we've been able to do things ourselves, because, you know, money is tighter than it used to be. You know, we've got bills to pay, so you've really given us the confidence to see where we can save money and how we can do things ourselves, to make it a happy, bright, joyful place.
I've got one more surprise for you. Just a little one, because I feel like the house is not yet complete without it. I couldn't not get this, because you need it in your house now.
I see why you needed such a big box.
I'm so excited. I love it, Stacey.
So now you can have your very own kitchen disco.
Stacey, I love it.
Do you?
Yeah. Should we start dancing now?
And to get the party started, Katie's invited her friends and family who, for the first time, will share the joy of this beautiful house.
They've done it. It looks incredible in there. I cannot get over it. There's so many people in that same situation, you know, that have had bad experiences or lack in confidence or feel like their budget isn't going to stretch to what they want. And Katie and Chris just prove that even on a really tight budget, you can still achieve the dream house that you want. Katie and Chris deserved a house full of colour, life and happiness, and now they've got that, and I am so happy